Why does everybody think that white men are racist? I'm not a racist. I just don't believe that this is fair.
Nothing felt that good in all my life.
A Jazzman Blues is a tale of forbidden love and family drama unravels 40 years of secrets and lies in the Deep South during an unsolved murder investigation. This movie was written by, directed by, and produced by Tyler Perry. And let me just say, a lot of his movies recently haven't really been that great. But this movie right here, probably one of his best ones I've seen yet. And that's probably because it's nothing like his other movies. A Jazzman's Blues takes place mostly in the 1940s, and I don't really like movies that much that deal with slavery or racism, but this one didn't really feel like that, and that's probably what was so great about it. A Jazzman Blues follows a young man named Bayou who was murdered in Georgia in the mid-40s. This film opens up with a mysterious lady who drops by a politician's office to try and get him to investigate a murder that happened almost 40 years ago. And that's when we're taken into the early 1930s. Bayou stays with his mom, his dad, and one of his brothers, and when I tell you that this guy has the voice of an angel, I mean this guy, Bayou, he can actually sing. His dad and brother don't really seem to like him that much, and it's made very clear throughout the movie that they want nothing to do with him. And I mean, like, they're being very abusive with him. They're calling him all kinds of names. They're saying all kinds of things about him. They just really do not like him. But his mom, on the other hand, is always sticking up for him, and she's trying to tell them, like, hey, you know, stop doing those things to him. Why do you treat him so terribly? So Bayou ends up falling in love with this girl who also stayed in Georgia named Bucket, and she stayed in the town around him. Everyone knows who she is. Everyone calls her Bucket, and she just looks a bit different than everybody, and they tend to make that a very important point in the movie. Both Bayou and this girl are sneaking out at night to try and see each other because she has this grandfather who wants no guys or anybody interacting with her. And at first I was a little bit confused on why that was the case, but later on in the movie it starts to make sense and it becomes a really important part of the movie. Unfortunately, their love was cut a bit short because something ends up happening to where her mother decides to take her out to Boston, so now they're miles apart from each other and he just has to continue on his life without her. And what sucks about that is this happened when he asked her to marry him. So they're getting all excited to start their life together, and then her mom just takes her off to Boston. With this film taking place in the early 1930s and 40s, you can really guess that there's going to be some racism covered in this movie. But Tyler Perry does a really good job on not making that the main focus of this movie. Like, yes, it's there, and yes, it's kind of important to the story, but it's still not the main focus of the movie. You know, movies that have to remind you every 5 minutes that, hey, this movie's racist. Like, I can't stand those movies and they tend to really bother me, so I just try to shove them away and just say I'm not gonna watch this. But this movie doesn't do that. There are even times in the movie where I was like, dang, I completely forgot that we're in the early 30s and early 40s, and it just didn't seem that way. The characters in this movie are interesting, I would say. They're very interesting. This is the first movie that I can say from Tyler Perry that they were written very well, especially his mom. You can tell that they really took the time in developing all the other characters because there weren't any characters in this film that I thought were not important or just like side characters just being there just to be there. Every single character in this movie mattered. But Bayou's mom, who was played by Amirah Vann, she killed it. She played such a powerful character in this movie, and she's such a strong actress that I'm almost surprised that I've never seen or even heard of her before I watched this movie. This is the first time I've ever seen her in a movie. So if she's been in anything else, I gotta check them out. She plays this loving mom who only wants the best for her children. you can really tell that she put so much emotion in her character that I started to really feel for every single situation that she was put through. And I mean every single situation. Some of the scenes that she was in actually had me a little teary-eyed. And I'm not gonna lie, because I was watching this in the Discord with a couple of friends, and I actually ended up having to mute my mic because I was like, dang, this hits. This is actually hitting me. I just think that Tyler Perry did a great job with casting her in this movie because she really killed her part. In this movie, there's a couple of music numbers in it. It's, you know, there's jazz music, and I like jazz. I like jazz a lot, so I enjoyed the music in here. But the best part about the music in here isn't just the way that it sounded, but the meaning behind the music. Like, they actually meant something. And I didn't really catch that until later on. One of the songs played back and he's singing one of the songs. I'm like, wait a second, that's important. That actually just started to click in my head. I was like, this scene is really important for this movie. And they just did a really good job with doing that. And you really have to pay attention because it's really important to the story. The lyrics in some of the songs, probably most of them, I'll have to go back and look at them, but the lyrics in this movie are really important to tell the story. But I do have a small complaint about this, and it does have to do with the music. It's not really that big, it's just kind of bothering me a little bit, and it might bother some other people as well. But when I'm watching a movie that has a lot of musical numbers and people bust out in song, the lip syncing becomes a problem. And this movie has that problem to where when I'm watching it, I can tell that, you know, obviously they're not singing, but this movie made it really obvious that they're not singing, and it almost felt a bit off to me. But, you know, if you're not paying that much attention to that, it probably wouldn't bother you as much as it bothered me. Tyler Perry really knocked it out the park with this movie. And I can't remember the last time that I watched a Tyler Perry movie that I was like, this movie's great. Because most of his movies always deal with some kind of drama in family members' life and their household, and it's always the same thing over and over again. This person's cheating on this person's sleeping with this person, or like, what was that one movie where the mom was sleeping with her son's best friend? Tyler Perry, I'm never gonna let you live that one down. That wasn't it. All in all, I really enjoyed this movie. I would honestly recommend this to just about anybody to go watch this. And the best part about it is it's on Netflix. So I was a little surprised about that. I expected this movie to be something that would go to theaters. I'm really surprised that it didn't go into theaters, especially with Tyler Perry doing this out of his studio. It's just one of the movies that if it was in theaters, it probably would have did a lot better. So I mean, if you're scrolling on Netflix and you want something really good to watch, this is that movie. I mean, what else can I say? This movie was really good. I say give it a shot. If you're not watching anything else, you might as well. I promise you'll enjoy it. It's not your regular Tyler Perry movie. This one is different. This movie is definitely one of his best movies because it's so different. By the time you get to the end of this movie, I'm pretty sure that you'll be in shock just like I was, because the last couple of minutes of this movie, there was no dialogue throughout it. It was just emotion all throughout, and it actually started to hit me a little bit. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. It'll really help out my channel. And also, if you want to see more reviews that I'm making and just other reviews for movies and TV shows, hit the subscribe button. You'll be able to see the next videos that I post, and I'll catch you guys next time.